Don't forget, folks, to be able to buy your 50/50 tickets, all you have to do is scan the QR code. You can go over to the Atlantic Hockey Championships website, the official tournament website for the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships. You can scan the QR code there, or anytime you see it come up on the screen here on the live stream here on AO Live, buy your 50/50 tickets for a chance to get your hands on a huge pot. That's been a big 50/50 draw. Even the Wednesday night when there was only one game here at the Credit Union Center, the pot, I do believe, was like $1,300 or $1,400 alone for game one on Wednesday night. So be sure to buy your 50/50 tickets and put in all the pertinent information and get your hands on a giant jackpot. Usually the draw will happen in the third period of the final game here this afternoon, or this evening, I should say, as the Kensington Wild will take on the Halifax Max this evening at 7:30 right here at Credit Union Center. Buy your 50/50 tickets. You can't win if you don't play. I'm starting to get in the hang of that little tagline.
Copyright that.
I'm going to have to. Welcome back inside Credit Union Center. Jeff Robichaud, Scott Drummond here as the 2025 U18 Atlantic Championships continue here this afternoon. Our second game of the day, it will feature the East Coast Blizzard from Newfoundland Labrador as they take on the Charlottetown Knights. And I totally forgot to put Charlottetown Knights in the home team's graphics, so I'll have to fix that. My apologies. My apologies. I picked that up. I had the East Coast Blizzard in. I thought I got the Knights in, and actually I think Tara will be able to. She'll remote in and fix that up. But we're just a couple moments away here from dropping the puck on the second game. I mean, what can you say? The East Coast Blizzard right now, 1-0 after two games. They won in overtime last night, lost in overtime in the first game yesterday. I'm sure they were happy to see a little bit of a break before coming into the rink today with the late game. They played 8 periods of hockey yesterday, almost 8 full periods really, because the overtime winners were both late in overtime. So they were happy to see that. And for the Charlottetown Knights, just a tough tournament
scenario.
It's been a tough tournament. Some of their big guys have started to wake up. Guys like Caden McGuigan and Declan McLaughlin, Rowan Walsh. They've all started to factor in on some of the scoring, but it's got to be fast and furious for them here in the next two games in order for them to even have a chance at the playoff round.
I mean, it starts a shift at a time, period at a time. Obviously, a game like this is a must-win for the Knights to even have a hope in extending into Sunday. However, they have to be pretty well perfect between here on out, and then have a whole bunch of other mathematical things happen with some of the other matchups. But, the Knights do have some firepower up front that we have not really seen yet, that we, I would expect to come out here in a game like this, Jeff.
And so we're just moments away. And again, thanks to Tara for fixing that little clerical mistake on my end. She managed to get the Charlottetown Knights put up there on the home side, as they will be the home team here this afternoon. And so I'm going to apologize in advance. And again, I'm going to take a shot here at my good friend Matt Little, who's back home in Newfoundland watching. Not sure if he's tuned in just yet, but Matt, they are wearing their white jerseys. So every once in a while, for most of the game tonight, you're going to hear from me. Scott and I had a chance to see the East Coast Blizzards. Nice jerseys to look at. They're just not very media friendly, so they got to start thinking about us media guys here a little bit more when it comes to jersey designs. Blizzards are going to be in their white jerseys, very reminiscent of the Toronto Maple Leafs colors, the blue and white. The only problem is instead of the blue numbers on the back, the Blizzards have white numbers with blue trim.
Yeah,
and so she's a little hard to see. But really nice uniforms. I'm really happy to see those uniforms. And the Charlottetown Knights are going to be in their dark uniforms. Those ones are very easy for us.
And equally as nice.
And equally as nice, yes. I do like the Charlottetown Knights uniforms as well. We're going to take a quick timeout. We're going to get ready for the national anthem coming up here in a couple of moments, and we'll drop the puck on Game 2 here this afternoon at the Credit Union Center. You're watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships right here on AO Live. And once again, a good Friday afternoon from inside Credit Union Center in Kensington. I almost said Charlottetown because the Charlottetown Knights are actually playing, but we're actually in Kensington, Prince Edward Island, as the Charlottetown Knights are all set to take on the East Coast Blizzard in Game 2 of this Friday afternoon here today at the 2025 U18 Atlantic Hockey Championships. They're just doing the little pregame ceremony here as they normally do before each and every game, as we are going to get set for the national anthem, and we'll take a look at the starting goaltenders coming up in just a couple of moments. And national anthem is all said and done. Taking a look at the starting goaltenders here this afternoon, and getting the start, his second consecutive game, is number 33, Ty Comden for the East Coast Blizzard. He was absolutely outstanding in the overtime win yesterday against the Kensington Wild. And to our broadcast left, starting goaltender will be third-year veteran Hudson Bradley, as Nate Clinton got the start, or excuse me, Zach Clinton got the start yesterday for the Knights, and they're going back with Hudson Bradley here in game number 3. Bradley dropped his first start of the tournament to the Kensington Wild on Wednesday. As the puck is dropping, we are underway here in game 2 of the afternoon, as Dylan will play it over into the far side. That's moved ahead there by Griffith. Puck bouncing around in the air, and Piercy took down his own man at the line, that being Drew Moores. Here's McLaughlin on the near side. He'll tip it out in the neutral ice, and Dylan will fire it back into Charlottetown territory. Well, it's going to be picked up there by Dunn. Dunn plays it off the wall, and it almost bounced right back out in front of the goal. McKenzie, he gets bumped, and the Blizzard are able to stay on the attack inside Charlottetown territory, as McLaughlin now will skate it through the neutral zone. McLaughlin in over the line, snaps the shot, and that goes off the end of the stick of Comden. There's a shot from Clinton from the point that goes off a leg, and it'll come over onto the near side. Dunn gets a weak shot through, and that doesn't get all the way through. That was steered away into the corner by the Blizzard defenseman. McLaughlin from a bad angle, and that goes off the shoulder of Condon in behind the Blizzard goal. McLaughlin still with it. He'll spin and fire, and he fires that one off the side of the net. McLaughlin will peel off on a change. Griffith plays it back over into the near corner inside his own zone, up the left side for Moores. Moores' pass goes in behind Connors. Knights will play that down into the near corner. Dylan back to get it for the Blizzard. He'll play it up onto the near side, as that'll be chopped down back into the corner. Here's Walker walking out, throwing it out in front of the goal. That was broken up at the side of the Blizzard goal. Dylan will pick it up on the near side. He'll play it out in the neutral ice, and it'll bounce back to the Charlottetown line. Seth Wallace off the wall, back into Blizzard territory. Rowan Walsh right up on the forecheck, forcing the Blizzard right back in behind their own goal, as they're trying to work it out of the corner. Walker now in the corner. He's trying to work it free, but it's picked up there by Connors. Connors turns it over. Here's McGuigan with a shot that goes off a couple of sticks. It'll bounce to Comden, and he'll pounce onto that with the trapper, and he will hang on with 2:01 gone here in period 1. Still scoreless, the Knights and the Blizzard.
Pretty good start here from the Knights, Jeff. Lots of pressure, a couple shots on goal.
Face-off will be to the left of the Blizzard goal. Draw one there by the Knights. McLaughlin plays it down and behind the goal. It'll be picked up there by the Blizzard. They'll play it up onto the far side. Spurl trying to play it out, but there's a shot from the point as there was a turnover at the Blizzard line, and a nice save there by Comden as Spurl gets taken down hard. Connors gets taken down hard. McLaughlin shot in tight, and Comden with the save. Yabsley plays it over onto the far side. There's a shot from Spurl. That's the stop there by Hudson Bradley. McLaughlin through the neutral zone and over the line as it knocked off his stick at the Blizzard line, and the Blizzard are back the other way. Spurl will chip it inside the line, knocked down. Jones up there looking for the puck, but it'll be moved out of Charlottetown territory by McDonald as his shot goes off his stick, and that gets steered up over the glass and out of play with 17-12 to go here in the first. So we talked about off the top of the show, big game here for the Charlottetown Knights. They cannot afford to go down 0-3. If they go down 0-3, their chances of making it into the championship game are very, very, very slim. I won't say zero, but very, very slim. As off the draw, here's Lawless. He'll play it around the wall down in behind the Blizzard net, playing it over onto the far side. Hines plays it up there for Moores, and he just clicks it out in the neutral ice. Hines will pick that up in the neutral zone. He'll play it over onto the near side. Cleary headmans it for Strong, and Strong will play it down into Knights territory. There's a shot right on from a bad angle as Ethan Jones he came out of nowhere to grab that loose puck down in the corner and got it out in front of the goal. And that was for Jordan Flynn, who had the overtime winner here last night against the Kensington Wild, and he got a rifle of a shot off, and Hudson Bradley made a great save on Flynn. Draw one there by the Knights. Here's Lawless down in the far corner. He'll play it over onto the right side, passing behind McGuigan, but he'll pick it up off the wall. He'll fire it down into Blizzard territory. Cleary back to get it for the Blizzard, but he bumps into the wall there with Walker. It'll be kick free by Jones. Blizzard will play it off a skate down the ice, and it's no icing as it went off a Knights player's skate. Lawless plays it onto the near wall. Knights will play it out in the neutral ice through the neutral zone. Here's Walker in over the line. Walker driving right towards the front of the goal, looking for Walsh, and that pass was too far for him. McKenzie way down low from his point position in behind the goal for Walsh. Walsh out in front of the goal. That was broken up. Walsh will get it once again. Walsh from another bad angle, another shot. That gets blocked. Clinton plays it down into the corner for Walker. Walker down into the corner. McGuigan looking for that puck. Has it in his feet along the wall. The Blizzard will find the opening between the two defensemen and just get it slowly out in the neutral ice. And the Blizzard will make a couple of changes, get some fresh legs out there. Comden stops it in behind the goal. Blizzard will feed it up onto the far side. Here's Dillon in the neutral zone. He'll get the red line and he'll fire it into Charlottetown territory. Proud back to get it. He'll cycle it into the open corner. Clinton going to try and chase it down. Clinton turns it over, however. Here's Russell along the near wall, plays it towards the front of the goal. That was broken up, and it's picked up by Aiden Silvaggio. He'll play that off the glass, knocked down at the line. Silvaggio through the neutral zone has a stick hooked up there by Duffett momentarily, but the Knights are still in over the Blizzard line. McLaughlin has passed through the slot, broken up. Dillon will play that off the glass and out in the neutral ice where it's going to be settled down there by Nate Clinton. His pass to the middle of the ice. Right away, one touch pass to the right side for McLaughlin and over the line. McLaughlin down into the corner. Dillon gets away from him, but nearly a turnover coming up here. There's going to be a penalty here to someone, and it's going to be a penalty to the Blizzard. Here's McLaughlin back to the point. McLaughlin working his way in, fires a shot that goes off a leg wide of the goal. Hudson Bradley on the bench for the extra attacker. As the Blizzard finally touch the puck. And the whistle blows with 14:39 to go here in the opening period, and you see the penalty here right in the middle of your screen.
Duffett's going.
And it's going to be Ben Duffett going off for 2 minutes or less on the hook. To quote the great Denny Lemieux, you're going to go to the penalty box to feel shame. And hooking, you can't do that, as Denny Lemieux says famously in Slapshot. Blizzard win the draw. They'll fire it off the wall, knocked down by the Knights. Here's McGuigan walking in his shot. That gets blocked, and the puck will get picked up there by the Blizzard and fired down the ice. case you can't tell, I'm a bit of a late 70s, early 80s kid, if you get that reference.
Well, we don't want to go into slap shot too heavily. It could get a little...
Here's McLaughlin working his way in. Now, listen, I know how to keep it PG, kind of. Here's McLaughlin on the right wall. He'll fire a shot that gets blocked. Puck bouncing right in behind the Blizzard goal. It'll be picked up there by the Blizzard. They'll wrap it around the wall. Kept in at the far line. Actually, no, it does not stay in. It just gets out into neutral ice. Here's Doyle. He'll fire it into Blizzard territory, but it's an offside at the Blizzard line with 6:04 gone here in the first. 1:17 remaining in the Knights' power play.
You bring out the tinfoil. We know we're in trouble here, Jeff.
Who would be Lee Hansen's version in this tournament would be my question. Off the draw, it's a scramble draw controlled there by the Blizzard. They go to fire it off the glass, and they actually fired it off the protective netting right here in front of us. And so that'll be another face-off just outside of the Knights line, or the Blizzard line, excuse me, directly right in front of our broadcast location here at the Credit Union Center. Draw one there by the Knights. Clinton will wrap it around the wall. McCabe trying to knock it down for the Knights on the near side. It gets past Walker and all the way back down into Charlottetown territory with a minute to go now. And the penalty to Ben Duffett of the Blizzard. Here's Walker in over the line. He actually gets stopped at the line, takes the express route over onto the far side. The puck will get rolled towards the front of the goal, and Ty Comden will grab onto that. And he will hang on for a stoppage and play with 45 seconds remaining in the Knights power play. 13:24 to go here in the first. Face-off is to the right of the Blizzard goal. Draw one there by the Blizzard down in their own corner. They'll play it out as far as the line, knocked down there by Proud. Walsh gets pushed off the puck, and the Blizzard are able to clear it all the way down the ice. Here's Walker. He'll slow it up through his own zone. Now feed it up the right side. It's Proud jumping up into the play. He'll hit the brakes inside the line, drops it back for Walker. Walker fires a shot right on, and Comden didn't know really where it was caught up in his paraphernalia, but he was able to hang on to it long enough for a stoppage and play.
That's a quick release from Walker, too. Very capable of scoring in that close.
12:56 to go here in the opening period. Again, a scoreless hockey game so far. Charlottetown Knights and the East Coast Blizzard. Team Prince Edward Island, Team Newfoundland Labrador, both teams from an island. As the Blizzard will skate it out through the neutral zone. Flynn trying to get away and had it taken away from him. Back the other way now, in over the line. Here's McDonald on the backhand, trying to feed it towards the front of the goal. That goes in behind the Blizzard goal. That'll be wrapped around the wall, and the Blizzard have killed it off. And so we're back at 5-a-side with 12 and a half minutes to go here in period one. Knights are through the neutral zone over onto the right side. Here's Campbell in over the line. Drops it back for Dunn. Dunn gets the shot off. Comden with the save. There's a pass that'll come over onto the left side. Strong had it roll off the end of his stick down into the near corner in Charlottetown territory. McDonald on the far side for the Knights. Plays it off the wall. It'll get knocked down at the line as the Blizzard are able to keep that in. There's a shot from a bad angle right on. They score! Hudson Bradley gave up the big rebound, and it is Ethan Jones putting it home, and it is 1-0 for the Blizzard.
Right spot at the right time here for Ethan Jones. Great finish.
The goal coming at the 7:52 mark of period one. Draw one there by the Knights. We'll wait for the official on the goal, but it is Ethan Jones who's gotten the Blizzard on the board first. Yabsley plays the puck down into the near corner. In Charlottetown territory, Walker turns it over. There's a shot right on off the stick of Connors, and Bradley got a piece of that. Here's Walsh back the other way, cutting towards the middle of the ice. His shot goes off the shoulder of Comden, and he was able to steer that into the corner. Clinton at the near point, plays it along the wall for McGuigan, back to the point for Clinton. Clinton looking, fires a shot. He just misses the glove side of the Blizzard goal. Here's Walker and Wallace bump into each other. Clinton had to come back and retreat. As there's a long pass ahead for McGuigan. McGuigan couldn't get a stick on it. The Blizzard play it there onto the near side. Connors, he turns it over. Clinton with a shot that doesn't get through. As Walker with a shot from the point, and that's easily handled there by Ty Comden. 11:03 to go here in the first. A 1-0 Blizzard lead on a goal by Ethan Jones, and it was Jordan Flynn picking up the assist on the Jones goal. Face off to the left of the Blizzard goal, and it's controlled there by the Knights off the draw. Back to the point for Dunn. Dunn plays it back down along the wall. Here's McLaughlin with a rifle, and that goes off the end of the stick of Comden. Puck gets played back to the point. Salvaggio over on the near side. Dunn with a nice little toe drag. That shot gets blocked on the way through. Blizzard trying to chop it out, and finally they'll skate it out of harm's way. Here's Flynn in over the line, fires a shot, blocked it away. Big rebound, and another nice save there by Hudson Bradley. Here's Corbett in the slot area, or McCarthy, excuse me. I don't know where I got Corbett from. Again, these jerseys are really hard to read.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Beautiful jerseys, though.
They are. I'm
not media friendly.
No, exactly. As we said off the top of the show, I'm still filing a formal complaint with Matt Little. Puck bouncing around in the neutral zone.
Any chance you can name drop, Jeff?
Yeah.
Give a dig.
I will. Here's Salvaggio and over the line, drops it for McLaughlin. McLaughlin, he fires a shot, and that goes off a stick and off the back wall here at Credit Union Center. We're halfway through the opening period here in game number 2 of the day in East Coast Blizzard with a 1-0 lead.
There's some different music we're hearing now, Jeff.
Indeed. Off the draw, it is the Blizzard controlling. They'll wrap it around the wall over onto the far side. McKenzie keeps it in at the far left point, plays it back in behind the goal. This is Party. He gets tied up and he turns it over down below the goal line, and the Knights are all over it. Here's Salvaggio trying to play it back to the point. Or correction, that's Walsh. Salvaggio and Walsh look an awful lot alike when they're skating together with the same helmets and the same face cage on.
Oh, certainly.
As the puck comes out in front of the goal from the short side, and McPhee was denied by Comden.
Very similar skating styles and size.
Yeah. And one's the captain, the other one's an alternate captain. So you see the letter on the jersey as there's a long pass. It'll go all the way down the ice and to be an icing call. And you see that letter on the jersey and you can't really tell if it's the C or the A. So,
and often on the ice together. They're usually on the same line.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they have Will Zafaris has kind of thrown everything in the blender to try and see if they can make something work out of the struggles that they've had over the last month and a half or so. And I think they found some sort of formula that's been working for them as the puck comes out in a neutral ice, as the Knights weren't able to hold it in, or the Blizzard weren't able to hold it in at the line, and Strong picked it up on the offside.
Yeah, so I do like that Salvaggio, Walker, McGuigan lineup. If they do use that, I think it's a good mix, but it probably doesn't balance at the lines very well.
No. Face-off is out in neutral ice. Draw one there by the Knights. Here's Clinton. His pass towards the middle of the ice that goes off the stick of Zafaris, excuse me. He'll play it back inside Blizzard territory as the Blizzards control. Pass to the middle of the ice, over onto the near side. It's picked up by Jones. Jones over to the far side for Strong, and Strong was probably a good 2 feet in over the line when he picked up that pass on the offside at the Knights line.
There's someone we haven't seen a lot of offense from yet. Is Strong. I think he's definitely a dark horse here on the Blizzard team that we're waiting to see come through, Jeff.
Face-off is just in front of the Knights bench. And that draw won so cleanly by the Blizzard. It goes all the way back down into Blizzard territory. Here's Strong on the near side. And you're right, Strong has been struggling a little bit to find his offensive game here.
Compared to what he's been doing through the season.
There's a long pass for the neutral zone. It's an offside at the Blizzard line. And so this face-off is going to come back onto the Knights side of the red line, back in front of the Knights bench with 8:34 to go here in the first. Again, it's a 1-0 lead for the East Coast Blizzard here in our second game of the afternoon. Again, a goal by Ethan Jones at the 7:58 mark. Through the neutral zone, it'll be Walker. Turns it over in the neutral zone. It'll be fired into Blizzard territory by McKenzie. McGuigan chasing it down on the far side. Walker will pick it up. He overskated it, and that allows the Blizzard to come back the other way. The puck will be dumped down into the near corner. Yabsley chasing it down, but it'll be the Knights who will come up with it. They'll play it up onto the far side. Walsh towards the middle of the ice and over to Walker over in the left side. Walker trying to play towards the front of the goal. Walker once again in a couple attempts trying to pass it out in front of the goal, but nice job defensively by the Blizzards to cut off those passing lanes. As McGuigan gets his stick in there, and a couple of attempts there on Flynn as he was trying to dump it into the Knight zone. Here's Walsh back the other way. He gets steered away there by Party. Here's Walker in the slot, down low. McGuigan with a shot, and he fires that one off the glass, and Walker was hit hard in the middle of the ice. You see it coming across right here, watching his pass, and he just got steamrolled right there in the middle of the ice, and resulting in a stoppage in play, and hopefully he's not too worse for wear. He's actually back up to one knee here already. I think he was more surprised by getting clocked, and he was hit absolutely hard there. Nice to see him back up on his feet and on his way back to the bench on his own power. And like I said, he just I think he was more or less surprised by the hit after that.
Probably knocked the wind out of him a little bit, but he seems to be okay.
Not very happy over there. He's ripping his helmet off on the bench, just trying to. I think he's trying to get get the wind back into him. As the trainer's still looking at him, and wait and see what happens here, if he gets another shift or not. As off the draw, the Blizzard control. Silvaggio bumps his man, passes it out in front of the goal. McLaughlin with a shot. He scores!
What a goal. That's what we need to see from McLaughlin.
Declan McLaughlin with his second of the tournament. As in a beautiful feed, a beautiful aggressive forecheck. Silvaggio right out in front of the goal. McLaughlin makes no mistake, sliding it home past Ty Comden. And the Knights have tied it up at 1 with 7:29 remaining. Off the draw, it is controlled there by the Blizzard. Dillon, his pass on the near side for Piercy. He had two Knights all over him, but he still manages to kick it free. Moores had it knocked off his stick at the Knights line. Puck gets played down into Blizzard territory. Blizzard will play it over into the far corner. Silvaggio's first on it, out in front of the goal for McLaughlin once again. Another shot right on, and a nice right pad save there by Comden. Silvaggio all the way back to the point, proud. Right side, done his shot through lots of traffic, and somehow Comden managed to find that through traffic, but it went high over the net. The puck gets cleared down into Charlottetown territory, and they're going to say no icing. Dunn gets bumped down below the goal line. The Blizzard are all over the puck. This is Moores out in front, trying to find some options, fires it off the side of the net. Proud plays it around the wall. Dillon pinching down, he'll play it into the corner. Moores trying to knock it down over on the far side, but it's going to be picked up there by Spurl. Spurl down into the corner. Dunn will pick it up. He'll play it over onto the near side for the Knights. Proud turns it over, nearly turned it over, I should say. Here's McLaughlin through the neutral zone, in over the line. McLaughlin snaps a shot that goes off a leg wide of the goal. McKenzie chops that down behind the Blizzard goal. Puck gets cleared around onto the far side, and McCarthy trying to chop it out. He'll play it off the wall once again, knocked down at the line by the Knights. Here's Lawless. He had no shooting lane. He couldn't handle it cleanly, so he just plays it down below the goal line. Zafaris picks it up. He'll play it all the way back to the point. There's a long shot from McKenzie that goes off a leg, and that'll go up into the protective netting for another stoppage and play with 5:50 remaining here in the opening period.
Great back and forth. These teams are actually quite even, Jeff, for what I've seen so far in this game.
And again, the Charlottetown Knights just getting off to a good start. Again, awfully tough going down 0-2 the first two games for the Knights. The Blizzard coming off a couple of emotionally draining games yesterday, an overtime loss in the first game of the day, and an overtime win last night, a short-handed marker at that against the Kensington Wild. And so good to see a little bit of the jump that they have here so far in the early stages of this game. Puck gets cleared back down into Blizzard territory, and Strong is back, but this is going to be an icing call, so we'll bring the face-off back into Charlottetown territory to the right of goaltender Hudson Bradley.
I mean, yeah, certainly to tie up that goal with a nice shot from McLaughlin. It's something we haven't seen in the goal column too much in this tournament, being the lead scorer and all in the New Brunswick PEI League.
Shots on goal right now, according to the total on the website, the Knights are out shooting the Blizzard 13-5. As that'll get wrapped around onto the far side. McDonald couldn't get it out, but it'll be skated out of Charlottetown territory by McKenzie. He'll play it down along the wall. It'll come out into neutral ice. Lawless. He'll fire it back down into Blizzard territory off the blocker of Ty Comden. Knights on the forecheck nearly forced the turnover. Blizzard played up as far as the line. Lawless trying to keep it back down in deep. He'll knock it down once again. Lawless will work his way down low. Driving to the net on the forehand. Couple of whacks at it. They score! Rowan Walsh finds the rebound. The loose puck to the left of Ty Comden and finds the back of the net. And the Charlottetown Knights are up by a goal at the 15:04 mark of the first.
It's a great job by Seth Lawless. Drops that shoulder, cuts to the net, and Walsh followed it up with a great hand-eye coordination on that rebound.
And so far for this opening 20 minutes, this has been more or less the Charlottetown Knights squad that you and I have had the chance to see throughout the regular season, just going hard. And now there's a conversation going on down there at the end of the Blizzard bench. The head coach
probably discussing the contact maybe off of that drive to the net, Seth Wallace.
I mean, we're going to have another look at it. Here's Lawless driving to the net, puts the shoulder down, goes right to the net, and Lawless did kind of fall into Comden just a little bit. But I think I think the officials are saying that he was pushed in there by the Blizzard defenseman as well. So that's probably the thinking behind the reasoning that goal is going to stand. Here's Clinton, plays that down into Blizzard territory. Puck turned over down below the goal line. Here's Thomas McPhee. McPhee trying to work his way out in front, and McPhee with such a short stick had it roll off the end of it. Here's McGuigan, top of the left circle, back for McPhee. McPhee trying to get the shot through, and that was blocked. There's another shot by Walsh that goes off the end of the stick of Comden once again. As he plays inside the line, here's Walsh trying to toe drag it, get the shot off, and it would rolling off the end of his stick. Puck gets cleared out into neutral ice, and the Knights will control. Here's Clinton. He'll play it up onto the right side. Walsh lets it go. Puck gets played over onto the far side. Party up the right side, and the Blizzard will chop it out into neutral ice, and the Knights will chop it back down into the near corner. This is Flynn. Plays it in behind the goal for Party. As the Blizzard trying to wrap it around the wall and off the glass, and actually went kind of straight up into the air and into the rafters, into the steel beams here at Credit Union Center, and that'll be a stoppage and play. 3:52 to go here in period number one.
Nice to see the Knights out on top here early on in this game.
Face off to the right of Ty Comden. It'll get wrapped around onto the near side. Here's Dunn keeping it in. There's a shot, got redirected a couple of times, but Comden able to find that with the trapper and squeeze that one and hang on. 3:45 to go here in period number one. 2-1 Knights lead. Goals by the Knights coming from Rowan Walsh and Declan McLaughlin. And it's Ethan Jones replying for the Blizzard. Draw one there by the Knights. Here's Dunn at the right point. Pass right through the slot area. McLaughlin chasing it down in the far corner. McLaughlin back to the point for Dunn. Dunn trying to go right back through the slot area. Nobody there for the Knights, and the Blizzard will feed it ahead. Here's Yabsley. Gets around McKenzie. Yabsley drops it there for Connors. Connors working down into the corner, kicks it free, but it's Silvaggio picking it up. He'll just clear it out in the neutral ice, and it'll be fired right back into Charlottetown territory as the Blizzard have tagged up on the delayed offside. Long pass up onto the near side. It'll bounce out in the neutral ice. Here's McLaughlin finding it and getting it over the line. He gets a weak shot off, and that's steered aside there by Comden. Yabsley will play it all the way out in the neutral ice as he was way down deep in his own zone defensively. Silvaggio plays it back for Clinton. Up the left side, McCabe into the slot, nobody there. McCabe will get it back once again. Silvaggio overskated it down on the far side. The correction, that was McLaughlin. I don't know why I said that was Beckett McCabe. McLaughlin had a hard time handling those passes. Through the neutral zone now. Here's Spurl down the left side into the corner. Wallace beats him to the puck. He'll play it high off the glass and back down into East Coast Blizzard territory, all the way back in his own zone. Wrapping it around the wall is Hines. That was broken up. Here's McDonald for the Knights, trying to work his way into the slot. McDonald trying to get away from Spurl. McDonald gets the shot off, and he had a beat on that blocker side, and he just fired it wide. Connors looking for the loose puck for the Blizzard. It bounces over onto the near side. Moores can't reach it. Hines will play it back inside Charlottetown territory as we're under 2 minutes to go here in the opening period. The Ferris wanted to feed it there for Campbell, but it goes all the way back into the far corner in Charlottetown territory. Lawless will wrap it around the wall on the near side. The Ferris, he gets bumped there by Hines on the near side. Zafaris doing a nice job protecting the puck along the wall, and it'll get played out in the neutral ice and fired back into Charlottetown territory. Bradley will play it into the corner for Clinton. Back and behind the Knights goal there for Lawless. He'll fire a long pass for the neutral zone. That's knocked down by the Blizzard. They try to fire it off the glass inside Charlottetown territory, but hopped it up over the glass or up over the bench and into the Charlottetown resting area with 1:24 to go here in the opening period. A 2-1 Knights lead over the Blizzard. Face-off is on the Blizzard side of the red line. It's off the draw. The Knights try to push it forward, and that was broken up there by the Blizzard. The Knights play it back inside Blizzard territory. Immediately back out in the neutral ice. McKenzie will fire that into Blizzard territory in the near corner. We played up on the near side by Flynn. In the middle of the ice, Piercy plays it over for Moores. He'll chip it down below the goal line as we're under a minute to go here in the opening period. McKenzie up the far side. There's a pass into the legs of McGuigan. And here's an opportunity down low, way all by himself there, was Drew Moores. And he couldn't handle the pass cleanly. McGuigan in over the Blizzard line, but he turns it over at the line. Flynn feeds it up the far side. Piercy walking his way into the slot, gets the shot off. It goes off a stick and wide of the Knights' goal. There's another shot from a bad angle that'll miss the Knights' goal, and it'll be kept in deep there by the Blizzard on the far side. Here's Clinton. He'll play it over to the open wing and bounce it down into Blizzard territory where it's picked up by Pardy. Pardy's pass up for looking for Strong, but it was knocked down there by McLaughlin. Flynn gets pushed off the puck. Clinton plays that off the dasher, and it'll bounce inside Blizzard territory. Pardy will play it off the wall back into Charlottetown territory as Moores is up there, or Jones, looking for the loose puck. He gets bumped into the end of the rink as time is set to expire here in the opening period. Here at the Credit Union Center, as the Charlottetown Knights are going to head to the dressing room at a 2-1 lead after 20 minutes of play here in Kensington. 3 goals to talk about. Ethan Jones opened the scoring for the Blizzard, make it 1-0 at the 7:58 mark. Declan McLaughlin would tie the game up at 12:31, and then Rowan Walsh would give the Knights the lead at 15:04. And so that is where we stand after 20 minutes of play. The Charlottetown Knights and the East Coast Blizzard, Charlottetown Knights, with a 2-1 lead over the East Coast Blizzard. We're going to take a quick timeout. Scott and I will come back with the first period intermission I almost kind of tried to skip ahead to the second period already. Again, first period intermission coming up here from the Credit Union Center. You're watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships on AO Live. Welcome back inside the Credit Union Center here in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. First period intermission continues with Jeff Robichaud, Scott Drummond. And before we get to our first period intermission, once again, a quick reminder that you can buy your 50/50 tickets online just by scanning the QR code here on the screen. Or if you don't see it on the screen and you want to buy a 50/50 ticket, you can go to the Atlantic Hockey Championships website, and the QR code is there. You can put in all your pertinent information for an opportunity to get your hands on the big draw at the end of the day, coming up during the third period of the final game of the day here today. And that third game today will be the Kensington Wild and the Halifax Max at 7:30 this evening from Credit Union Center. And we can tell you right now that the pot is now up around, or it's actually not up around, it is exactly $575 and counting here this afternoon. Of course, we expect that amount to go a little bit higher once Kensington, the home team, comes in, because it's been a full house for both of the Kensington Wild games here this evening. So again, scan the QR code, buy your 50/50 tickets online for your chance to win a part of probably what's going to be another big pot here. Another
$800-900, I'd say.
I would say probably about another $1,700-1,800 pot. So you divide that in two, anywhere from $700 to $800. That's a pretty good payday for coming to watch a hockey game, eh? And so, once again, scan your 50/50 ticket, or scan the QR code, for your chance to win the 50/50 ticket, or the 50/50 grand prize draw here at the Credit Union Center. First period intermission continues here. Jeff Robichaud and Scott Drummond with you here at the Credit Union Center, as we mentioned about a half a dozen times in the last 45 seconds or so. The Charlottetown Knights with a 2-1 lead over the East Coast Blizzard after 20 minutes of play. The Blizzard getting goals from Ethan Jones, and for the Knights it is Rowan Walsh and Declan McLaughlin, the two big guns that were pretty quiet during the playoff series against the Kensington Wild. They started to kind of find a little bit of a groove in last night's game, even though the Knights came out on the short end of things. And now they're back on the score sheet here again this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see Declan McLaughlin actually get back on the scoreboard here after, I think he scored one yesterday, I believe, as well. But certainly he's usually good for a few goals a game, and a great natural goal scorer here, Declan McLaughlin. And also, that second goal, even it was Rowan Walsh's goal, but it was really driven by Seth Lawless jumping in off that blue line and driving that right to the net. Beating the defenseman wide, and that's what really created that opportunity.
Put the shoulder down, drove to the net, and created the rebound, and good on Rowan Walsh there to be right close to the net and able to tuck that up underneath the crossbar, because really that was the only place he had to put it, being in so close, and Ty Comden was down covering a good portion of the lower part of the net, but he managed to get it up over his shoulder to make it 2-1 at that point. The Blizzard got off to a great start with Ethan Jones opening the scoring. He picked up the big rebound off the initial shot. Hudson Bradley made the right pad save, but Ethan Jones made no mistake finding the back of the net to open the scoring. And it looked like the Blizzard were going to build some momentum off that, but it just seemed like the Knights seemed to find a way to settle in and take momentum back from the Blizzard, and they potted home 2 unanswered goals.
I mean, they came out right away. Got about 5 shots on that first shift, it felt like, and I don't know what the shots were in that period, Jeff, but I think they doubled up the Blizzard in that first period.
We will say they tripled up the Blizzard.
Tripled up the
Charlottetown Knights out shooting the Blizzard 21-7.
Wow.
Now, I mean, I think my math is pretty accurate there. 7 times 3 is 20. 7 times 3 is 21. So I guess they did triple them up. But yeah, I mean, that was an all Charlottetown Knights opening 20 minutes. And at this point, I kind of think that maybe the East Coast Blizzard are very lucky to only be down by 1 after that opening 20 minutes. I mean, Ty Comden had to come up big for them on a couple of different occasions. And Hudson Bradley, even though he only faced 7 shots on goal, there were 7. I'd say probably about half of them were quality scoring chances for the Blizzard.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the real test, though, is how are the Knights going to come out here in the second period. Sometimes you can get a little flat after a great first period. They seem to put everything out there, but we'll see the Knights come out here and keep that momentum going. And for the Blizzard, I think they have to bring a little bit more energy to the ice, a little different team than what we saw yesterday. I know they played 2 games yesterday, probably a bit high on energy, and had a little rest, and now probably the legs are sore and everything's a little bit more stiffer than they were yesterday. But I think the Blizzard have to come out with some energy here to get back in this game.
And so, with that being said, we're going to wrap up the second period intermission. We'll get all set for second period action. Did I say second period intermission again?
First period intermission, second period coming.
Second, yeah, there we go. I'm trying to get it. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Standing on your feet, for every day for 3 straight days, you're at least lucky.
At least
you have a bit of a seat there, so you get off your feet for a few minutes at a time. First period intermission will continue in just a couple of moments. We'll get all set for second period action here at the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships. You're watching it right here on AO Live. And welcome back inside Credit Union Center in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. Second period action about to get underway as the East Coast Blizzard trail the Charlottetown Knights by a 2-1 mark here in our second game of the afternoon here in Kensington. The referees are letting the clock run down, letting the ice dry up as much as possible for the most part. Scott, you were talking to the rink guys a little bit earlier on. They're saying the ice is holding up okay. Just one spot down to our broadcast right where it's the furthest distance away from the ice plant here, and they're saying it's holding up pretty good. as the Blizzard play that off the wall. I was half expecting you to jump in there for a moment, Scott. As there's a big hit along the wall, and the Knights will keep it in at the line. Here's McKenzie. He'll feed it over onto the far side. It'll be Dunn firing a shot. He's falling down. Puck right in front of the goal, and McLaughlin is denied there by Comden. Off the wall. Dunn will chop it back out as far as the line, kept in there by Hines. Hines will keep it in again at the left point. He'll fire it around the wall. It'll come over into the near corner. Blizzard trying to play it back to the point, then that'll get cleared back out, and Hines will fire it right back into Charlottetown territory. Here's Dunn up the left side for Silvaggio. Silvaggio trying to feed it ahead there for McLaughlin, but it's too far for him. The Blizzard turning it over. Doyle gets bumped down on the far side. Blizzard will play it through the middle of the ice. It'll be kept in at the line by Lawless. He'll chop it down in behind the Blizzard goal. That'll be picked up there by Jones. He'll play it off the wall, but that's kept in at the line by the Knights. Walsh chasing it down in the near corner. He has a stick lifted, but it comes back to the point for Lawless. Lawless will feed the shot through. That'll go wide of the Blizzard goal. Strong chopping at it. It'll go out as far as the line. The Knights will keep it in, and they'll play it over into the far corner. Walsh battling in the near corner. As it'll be finally picked up there by Strong. Middle of the ice for Flynn. Tips it down into Charlottetown territory. Walker's back. He has it knocked off his stick. Flynn gets bumped there by Walker, and that'll be picked up by Lawless of the Knights. This pass to the middle of the ice there was intended for Walker, but it's Walsh that picks it up. He's trying to play it there for Walker, as it's nice to see Austin Walker back on the ice after he got absolutely steamrolled in the later stages of that first period. Walsh for Walker, actually to McGuigan. Walsh trying to jam it in short side, and that play happened so fast I couldn't keep up with it. Morris skates it in. Connors has it knocked off his stick. He'll chop it back along the wall. Into the slot. There's a one-time attempt there by Piercy, and it went off the heel of his stick. Piercy plays it down and behind the goal. Up in front of the goal as McCarthy is denied in front of the net. Here's McGuigan down deep. He'll play it off the wall, but it'll be kept in at the line. There's a shot. It'll go off a stick wide of the goal. Party pinching in. Gets chopped along the wall, but McCarthy knocks it down. He'll play it down into the corner. Some good pressure here by the Blizzard. There's just a backhand shot, but Bradley's able to stop. The puck will get wrapped around the wall, and this is going to go all the way down the ice. And so this is going to be an icing call with some very, very tired Charlottetown Knight players on the ice. With 17:10 remaining here in the second period, and this has probably been about a minute and 45 that this line of McGuigan, Walsh, and Walker have been on the ice.
That's when they should be sending the puck straight into the rafters as opposed to that icing. They'll get a change out of that.
Off the draw, the puck will come right through the slot area. Walker will pick it up for the Knights. He'll skate it through the neutral zone. Walker's in over the line. He'll play it down into the corner. Walker battling there with Party. Puck comes free, and it's picked up there by the Blizzard. They'll play it over onto the far side. Back down into his own zone is Yabsley. Plays it over onto the right side. Flynn's pass to the middle of the ice. Spurl will pick it up, and Connors held the line. That one there.
Oh, no.
That one there, I do believe, was onside. Connors held the line. As we're going to have another look at it, I mean, you just missed Connors.
Yeah, I was following the puck.
You just missed Connors to the left of the screen there. But I'm almost standing right on the blue line here from where I'm at, and it looked like Connors was onside. Here's McLaughlin in over the line. He has it roll off his stick down below the goal line. Party, he gets bumped hard there by McLaughlin, but puck comes over onto the near side, and it's going to be Declan Flynn trying to play it up the wall. Spurl can't get it out there past McPhee. McPhee gets run over there by Connors.
Now there's a size difference.
Here's Spurl on the right side, working his way in. Spurl towards the front of the goal. And puck's loose in the blue paint. Couple of whacks at it. Bradley has it underneath of him. Puck's still loose. Referee standing right there, so he hasn't lost sight of it. It's controlled there by the Blizzard as Spurl tried to jam it in short side. And the puck gets cleared back down into Blizzard territory. Here's Spurl in the neutral zone for the Blizzard and over the line. Drops it for Yabsley. Yabsley overhandles it, and it's cleared away there by the Knights.
The Blizzard bench are wild over something over there, Jeff.
Zafiris will play it over into the far corner. It's going to be picked up there by Party for the Blizzard. He gets pressured there by Campbell. Zafiris back to the point. It'll come over onto the left point now for McKenzie. McKenzie trying to get the shot through. That goes off the blocker of Comden. Lawless back at the right point. He'll play it down into the corner. Out into the slot. Campbell with a shot right on. Comden with the save. Puck gets cleared off the glass and down into Charlottetown territory. It's not going to have enough weight to make it across for icing. The Blizzard making some changes. That goes all the way down the ice, and McDonald unable to get a stick on it. And this is going to be an icing call against the Charlottetown Knights.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in front of the net. The Knights net there, the bench was wanting something out of that play.
But I mean, the referee was right there on top of it. He's seen everything. The puck was loose. We've seen occasions so far this tournament where there's been a couple of occasions where there's been goalmouth scrambles like that, and the referee blew the whistle when the puck was still loose. So good on the referee there to stay right there to keep his eye on it. There's a pass through the neutral zone. It goes off the stick of Zafiris. Comden will play it in behind the goal as the Blizzard will skate through the neutral zone. Getting tripped up there was Galton as he was able to get it in deep. Puck to the side of the Knights goal. Hudson Bradley able to get a blocker on it to pin the puck against the side of the net. 5:09 gone here in the second period.
A little bit more energy here from the Blizzard this period. Jeff got a couple more shots. I think they're finally waking up in this game and close to tying this up.
Face off is to the other right there.
The
Scott.
other right?
Or the other left, I should say. Draw one there by the Blizzard. As the Blizzard sent it towards down into the corner, comes right out into the slot area, and nobody there for the Blizzard. The Knights clear it out into neutral ice. Here's Walsh back the other way. Tries to drop it for Walker, but the Blizzard clear back out into neutral ice. Clinton up for Walsh. Walsh lost control of it. Here's Proud now in the neutral zone. He has it poked away from him. He'll send it back for Clinton in his own zone. Up the left side for Walker through the neutral zone. Here's Walker now in over the line. He'll fire a shot that goes off a stick and up over the glass and out of play. Again, Scott Drummond, color man extraordinaire, cameraman extraordinaire. A little bit of everything.
A little hard to follow the puck in this where we are, Jeff. We're like right top of the action here.
I mean, you couldn't have asked for a nicer venue. I mean, aside from maybe moving this to Summerside, this event, but I mean, let's face it, the town of Kensington has done a great job receiving this tournament here this weekend, with all the parents coming in from all over the place. It's certainly been a great event here so far, and we're looking forward to another great 2 days still to go. As Flynn plays that ahead, it's going to be Strong beating out that icing call. As Flynn looking for the loose puck at the side of the goal, and a couple of bodies go down, and it's the Knights that'll come up with it. Doyle, long pass up the right side. The Knights are working their way in. McLaughlin with the shot, goes off a stick, bounces off a stanchion right back to McLaughlin, all the way back to the point for Clinton. Back for McLaughlin. McLaughlin toe drag and fires that one high and wide. Dunn chops it down into the corner. Silvaggio right through the slot area. Nobody there for the Knights. Here's Dunn off the wall. Silvaggio couldn't get a stick on it. Flynn will poke it around Dunn, and he'll chase it down into the corner. Dunn will play it off the glass. It'll be knocked down. Strong spins and fires. Puck into the slot. There's a shot by Flynn, and that just missed the goal. You mentioned it. You said it's got a little more jump here by the Blizzard.
Oh, certainly.
Here's Silvaggio in over the line. He'll dish it for McLaughlin. McLaughlin, he fires a shot. He was looking for that top corner, and he missed it high and wide. Comden scrambling to get back, lost an edge, and kind of fell down. Puck turned over. McGuigan with a shot. And that just missed the trapper side. Another shot from the point, and that gets steered up off the glass. McGuigan comes up with that puck. Back to the point for McKenzie. McKenzie back for McGuigan. Back to the point, McKenzie. He'll fire that one. That'll go high and wide. Strong try to poke it out. There's a shot from the point, blockered away there by Comden. Puck gets cleared off the glass, or off the wall, out into neutral ice. McKenzie spins and plays it all the way back down into Blizzard territory. Comden in behind the goal. On the forecheck. Here's McCabe. McCabe gets bumped in behind the goal. Puck comes towards the right of the goal. And the Blizzard are able to flick it all the way down the ice. This is actually going to not be an icing call. And a big hit down then behind the Knights goal as Strong takes down his man. McCarthy will dump it down into Knights territory, and the Knights for the Blizzard, were on a line change, so they had to wait and tag everyone up again. That gets cleared out into neutral ice. McCabe stopped that pass, and just on the other side of the blue line, it's a delayed offside on the Knights. Back the other way now, it will be Piercy in over the line, trying to avoid the check at the line. Puck gets cleared away out in the neutral ice. 8 minutes, 15 seconds gone here in period number 2. Jones able to hold the line there, but the turnover happened inside the Knights line. Here's Cleary up the right side for McCarthy. McCarthy up for Spurl down the left side. Spurl walking in, gets the shot off, and he just missed the far side, and the puck will come off the wall. Cleary will play it back inside Charlottetown territory. Here's Lawless. Campbell, he has it knocked off his stick in the neutral zone. That'll get fired off the glass and out in the neutral ice. Lawless will play it back down in the far corner. Blizzard will skate it out through their own zone. Hines, he gets bumped off the puck at the line. There's a delayed offside at the Knights line. Long pass up the left side. Walsh picks it up inside Blizzard territory. Walsh with a shot right on, and Comden with the save, and he will hold on for a stoppage and play with 10:52 to go here in the second period. And something I just noticed, Scott, I haven't seen and haven't said the name of Nolan McQuillan in a little bit, the defenseman for the Charlottetown Knights. He did play in game 1 against the Wild, but I don't recall saying his name yesterday, and I haven't said it today, and it looks like they're rotating 5D through here for the Charlottetown Knights. Here's McGuigan with a shot, and that one there catches a piece of the iron, and that goes straight up into the ceiling.
Yeah, definitely, and it's I think they are shortening the bench quite a bit here, just running with two lines plus a few players, I think, here and there.
And at least, and they're only going with 5D as of right now, I think. Again, Nolan McQuillan not on the bench. I haven't seen Carson Murnahan as well either.
No.
Puck bouncing around. Here's Spurl. He'll pick it up and he'll play it down into the near corner. Bradley, he'll play it back into the corner. Proud trying to chop it up along the near wall. Walsh plays it back there for Proud. Headmans it for Walsh. Over onto the far side. McGuigan with a shot right on, and what a billet, and they score!
Off the rebound.
Austin Walker skating through the top of the blue paint, manages to shovel it home past Ty Comden. And the Charlottetown Knights have extended that lead to 2. It is now 3-1 with 10:22 to go here in the second.
I mean, we were saying earlier the Blizzard actually upping their energy this period, but it's not for lack of the Knights losing their energy. They've been pressing as well.
They've matched the energy quite nicely.
But unfortunately now they're down 2 goals.
Just waiting for the official to pop up here, but it is Austin Walker from Colin Proud at 9:38. So for Walker, he's another one of those guys that have been very quiet. He was quiet during the Prince Edward Island provincial playdowns.
Yeah.
He's picked up the pace and his game here in the last couple of games. Even though they've been on the losing end of things, Walker's slowly starting to get back into the swing of things.
Walker from the very, very eastern part of the island, Surrey or Georgetown, I'm not sure.
I do believe it's Surrey. No, I think
Montague,
you're right.
maybe.
I think it's Georgetown. That gets played off the wall all the way down the ice, and this is going to be an icing call. They'll bring the face-off back into Blizzard territory. And the Blizzard and Knights are just 3 seconds away from the midway point of the hockey game with 10:03 remaining. Draw one there by the Knights. Here's McKenzie at the left point. He'll fire it towards the goal, and it'll be Ty Comden grabbing onto that one with the trapper, and he'll hang on. You know, we're talking with a couple of the coaches last night after the Blizzard game, after the overtime win against the Wild, and they were saying that Comden, very capable goaltender. He was just kind of a little down on his confidence, and he needed that big win last night. He played extremely well in that win last night against the Wild, and they were going to go back with him again today. against the Charlottetown Knights, and then they're going to go back with Will Morgan in the final game of the round robin for them tomorrow. McKenzie, Walker over onto the far side. Dunn will fire right through the blue paint. Walker was standing right there, and he would have had a wide open net if he was expecting that. Puck bouncing around over in the far corner. Hines battling there with Walker and Walsh. Puck will squirt loose. Dunn with a shot from the point. That'll go wide. McKenzie pinching down from the point position. He'll play it in behind the goal. Hines trying to get away there from McCabe, and then it'll get wrapped around back to the far side of the ice. Dunn keeping it back in behind the Blizzard goal, and the Blizzard will come up with it on the near side. Off the wall. The Blizzard trying to get it out of their own zone. They've been pinned in there now for a good minute and a half, 2 minutes.
That's just the relentless waves of pressure on this forecheck from the Knights.
As the Knights will play it back down into the near corner. Here's Galton on the right side through the neutral zone. Fanning on the dump in. Wallace picks it up, turns it over. Galton picks it up into the slot. Here's an opportunity. Strong trying to get a shot off. Puck bounces up into the air. It's still loose to the right of the Blizzard Knights goal. There's a long shot from the point. There's a delayed penalty here coming up to the Knights as the puck is touched. As Russell at one point seemed like he got steamrolled in front of the net. As you see him go down right there in front of the goal. He kind of took an extra shot just before the puck was, the whistle was blown. So first power play opportunity of the afternoon for the Blizzard. Try to pull themselves back within one at 3-1 here right now. Trailing by a pair with 8:46 remaining. Draw one there by the Blizzard. Here's Flynn. Flynn will get it back at the point. He'll fire a shot that goes off a stick and straight up into the air. And the clang of the rafters here.
Make a soundbite of it all.
At Credit Union Center. Face-off will be to the right of Hudson Bradley.
Quite a few fans here today from Charlottetown. Jeff?
Blizzard control off the draw. Here's Jones into the slot. One-timer right on. McCarthy the save, or off the stick of McCarthy. Bradley with the save. McCarthy plays it back down in behind the goal. Knights work it free. McDonald pokes it out in neutral ice, and it's going to be Parker McDonald going down one-on-one. McDonald working in. He gets a shot off, goes off a stick wide of the goal. Blizzard will play it back in behind their own goal, and they'll set up the power play once again. 1:20 to go in the man advantage. Here's Jones on the right side through the neutral zone and over the line. McCarthy with a shot right on. Bradley with the big save. Pass over onto the near side. Jones going to chase it down into the corner. He's going to be worked on there by Lawless. Puck does come free. The Blizzard will control. They'll play it back to the point. Back down into the near corner. Jones back in behind the goal. They're going to try to jam it out short side. Lawless knocks it down with his glove, and he'll find the opening and fire it down the ice. 7:35 to go here in the second. Here's Strong in over the line. He has it knocked off his stick, and back the other way now is Walsh. Walsh working his way in one-on-one. He has it knocked off his stick. Walker will pick it up, however. Keeps it in the Blizzard territory, trying to go high, short side, and he fired right up over the net. Flynn plays it inside Charlottetown territory. Lawless will play it over for Dunn. Dunn plays it hard off the wall. It'll be kept in at the line only momentarily. Walker will skate it out in the neutral ice. He'll play it there for Walker. Here's a 2-on-1. Walsh with Walker. Walker back for Walsh. And a nice sprawling save there by Ty Comden.
Had to be careful on that move at the blue line. It looked kind of close to being offside there, Jeff.
It was onside. Just having a look at the replay here and working the give and go. Walker to Walsh, and Comden just sliding across, keeping that pad right on the ice as Walsh wasn't able to get it up and over it. Draw one there by the Blizzard. They'll skate it out of their zone. Here's a pass off the foot of Spurl. It'll go down the ice. Dunn will pick it up. He tried to clear it off the glass. It'll be knocked down by the Blizzard, but the Blizzard will turn it over. McGuigan, he turns it right back over, and it'll be played down into the corner. Drew Moore's out in front of the goal, nobody there. There's a shot from Pardy that goes off the blocker of Hudson Bradley as the Knights are now back at even strength with 6:31 to go here in the second period. Off the draw, there's a shot from McCarthy that goes off a leg wide of the goal. McKenzie will pick it up on the far side. He gets bodied hard in the Blizzard bench. There's a long pass, goes all the way down the ice. It's going to be an icing call against the Charlottetown Knights with 6:15 to go here in the second. A 3-1 Charlottetown Knights lead over the East Coast Blizzard. Ethan Jones for the Blizzard, Declan McLaughlin, Rowan Walsh, and Austin Walker all scoring for the Knights. Face off to the left of Hudson Bradley. Dunn having a hard time handling it, still manages to get it behind the goal for McKenzie. McKenzie plays that off the wall, down into Blizzard territory. Flynn chasing it down, him and McGuigan. The two number 6s go into the end of the rink, two big bodies down in that far corner. There's McGuigan trying to work his way up in front of the goal, gets a shot off, and that goes off the arm of Comden. McGuigan has knocked off his stick.
Somebody's without a helmet.
Here's Jones working his way in. He hasn't knocked off his stick. He gets bodied down in the corner. McGuigan plays it over onto the far side. Doyle, he gets hit hard along the far side as it'll get played out in the neutral ice, and the puck gets played back down into Blizzard territory. Here's Hines skating it out. Hines through the neutral zone, gets the red line, he'll dump it in. Bradley slows it down. Jones is going to be the first on the puck. He gets bumped there by Clinton down at the end of the rink. As there's a turnover, there's a shot right on, big rebound. Bradley with the save as Duffett was right there looking for that loose puck. Here's McPhee, he'll tip it to the middle of the ice for Silvaggio. Silvaggio has it knocked off his stick. McPhee turns it over at the line, but Silvaggio will pick it up once again. Silvaggio into the middle of the ice for McLaughlin. Working wide, he has it poked off his stick into the corner. Thomas McPhee for the Knights, working along the wall. Gets played down into the corner. Silvaggio hits the brakes. He gets rubbed out once again. On the near side, Galton plays it around the wall over onto the far side. Parker McDonald there for the Knights. He avoids a couple of checks. Silvaggio out in front of the goal. McPhee swatted at it, but nobody there, nobody home there on that swing. Here's Russell into the slot, trying to drop it back there for Duffett jumping up into the play. Gone a good 4 minutes or so without a whistle here. Actually, no, probably closer to 2.5.
That helmet's still sitting on the ice to the left of Comden there.
Dalton plays it on to the near side. Goes over onto the far side of the ice, and Flynn will play it inside the Knights line. Proud. He'll play it over into the corner, but turnover there. And there's a shot from the far side, and that gets blocked there by the Knights. Parker McDonald through the neutral zone and over the line. He actually overskated it in the neutral zone, and he kind of put himself offside as Ashton Campbell brought it in a second too late. 3:48 to go here in period at number 2. Again, a 2-goal lead for the Knights here this afternoon in game 2 here at the 2025 U18 Major Atlantic Hockey Championships. Jeff Robichaux and Scott Drummond along with you on this Friday afternoon, soon to be Friday evening in Kensington. Puck gets played along the near side. Back to the point, McKenzie knocks it down. McKenzie gets the shot off, Comden the save, the rebound cleared away. Puck gets cleared out in a neutral ice. McKenzie trying to play it back towards the line. It goes off the foot of the referee, the linesman I should say, and Walker's forced all the way back into his own zone, and Walker skating very dangerously through the middle of the ice in front of his own goal. He'll dish it off. Walsh over onto the far side. McGuigan, he'll play it down low. Walker back to the point for McKenzie. McKenzie with a shot, and that gets knocked down on the way through. McGuigan tried to get the shot through in the slot area. That was broken up. Wallace keeps the puck in at the line. As the Blizzard very scrambly in their own zone here in the second period with just over 3 minutes to go. McGuigan chops it down into the corner. Blizzard will play it back in behind the goal. It'll be picked up there by Griffith. As Flynn swatted at it and tried to get it away. Couldn't get it deep into Knights territory. Long pass up the far side. Strong up there looking for the loose puck. It bounces toward the middle of the ice. Flynn looking for it. McLaughlin will pick it up. McLaughlin turns it over. A couple of bodies collide in the high slot area, and it's Walsh who will skate it away. Walsh was wide on Griffith. Walsh gets the shot off, and that's steered aside there by Comden. Big hit along the wall as Walker got hit hard once again down in the Blizzard zone. Here's Silvaggio in over the line. He'll dish it off into the slot. There's a shot that goes off a leg wide of the goal, off the stick of McLaughlin. Silvaggio all the way back to the right point. Here's Proud now at the left point, trying to find a shooting lane. He overhandled it, and he's able to keep it in at the line. Here's Silvaggio. He's got a man out in front of the goal. You don't want to leave McPhee alone in front of the net. Or, excuse me, McLaughlin in front of the net. It's kind of a lot like leaving Alex Ovechkin open for all these goals that he scored over the years.
Let's see, 3 goals away from the record now?
3 or 4, I do believe. No, he has 3. He got one the other night. As the Blizzard played inside the Knights line, it gets cleared out in the neutral ice. Percy chasing it down. McDonald has to go off his shoulder, and it stays inside Knights territory. McDonald knocks it down for himself. He'll skate it through the neutral zone. McDonald's in over the line to Doyle. Doyle with a shot right on, and Comden with the save. He will hang on for a stoppage and play with 1:10 to go here in the second period.
I don't think anybody would be touching Gretzky for the assists, though. Points overall, I think he's well ahead.
I think that record will never be broken unless, Sidney Crosby keeps playing for probably about another 15 years or so. And with the shape he's in and the way he's playing, he probably could play for another 15 years. And just imagine if he hadn't missed all that time with those issues with the concussion.
Yeah.
It turned out it was a neck issue. It wasn't even really a concussion issue. As here's Connors driving wide. Backhand shot right through the blue paint, and somehow that doesn't go in. There's a long shot from the point, and that goes off a leg wide of the goals. We're under a minute to go. There's a turnover at the line. Here's Piercy. He gets a shot off. Bradley the save, and the Knights clear out the rebound. Party, he'll whine and fire. That goes wide of the goal. The puck will bounce off the end of the rink. And some good late period pressure here by the Blizzard. Knights will control it on the near side. Played out now. McCabe has it knocked off his stick. McDonald, however, trying to get it in. Long pass to the neutral zone. Here's Party. Up the right side. Spurl trying to play towards the front of the goal. Knocked down there by McKenzie. Here's Party in the neutral zone. He flicks it up into the air. That actually goes off the rafter. Barely caught a piece of it, but enough to have the whistle blown for a stoppage and play with 15.4 seconds to go.
Good energy here from the Blizzard to finish off this period, Jeff. They're trying to at least cut this lead in half before the break here, but no luck so far.
It's not necessarily all about cutting into the lead. It's about trying to build some momentum going into the third period. Again, worst lead in hockey, as we always say, it's the 2-goal lead, and that's where it's at right now. The Blizzard are down by a pair as the second period is drawing to an end slowly but surely, as Hines had to get away from his man, and they'll just stop in behind the net and let the clock run out as the buzzer will sound to bring to an end the second period here at the Credit Union Center, as the Charlottetown Knights have a pair of goals, or a 2-goal lead, and actually you see both goaltenders acknowledging each other coming off the ice. You don't rarely see that. Hudson Bradley and Ty Comden tapping blockers with each other on the way through. And even Austin Walker did that to Ty Comden as well, as he was making his way to the dressing room as well. So very rare that you see that happen with the opposing teams. But listen, it's a battle out there, and it's a little show of respect on the part of both teams. As the second period has come to an end, we will take a look. We'll have our second period intermission coming up here from the Credit Union Center. The Charlottetown Knights with a 2-goal lead after 40 minutes of play here in Kensington. You're watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships here on AO Live. Don't forget, folks, a final reminder from this game here, you can buy your 50/50 tickets by scanning the QR code right here on the screen. A chance to get your hands on part of the pot, which is now up over $606 here already this afternoon. And, of course, it's only going to get higher once the Kensington Wild game kicks off, coming up here in our third game of the evening, coming up at 7:30 tonight here at the Credit Union Center. So once again, scan the QR code here on the screen, or you can go to the official official championship website for the 2025 U18 Atlantic Championships. I'm starting to sound like a 12-year-old kid getting frustrated.
Tongue twisted.
Tongue twisted for sure. The QR code is also there to. Yes. Yeah. See. Okay. So I apologize. We're getting messages randomly from my producer, who's kind of putting it up on the notepad. Well, no, she says we don't have to explain, but we're having long pauses because Scott and I are both looking down, reading the message that Tara's sending us, and we never know what she's going to say from time to time. But once again, the 50/50, you can buy it by scanning the QR code. You can go to the official website of the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships. The QR code is there as well. And as I mentioned, the pot is up over $606 already, and we still have one more game to go. The draw will come up during the third period of the game between the Kensington Wild and the Halifax Max, and that'll be in the third period this evening from the Credit Union Center. 50/50, you can't win if you don't play. And welcome back inside the Credit Union Center. Jeff Robichaux and Scott Drummond, as we are second period intermission that continues here, and the Charlottetown Knights with a 3-1 lead after 40 minutes of play. You know, we were talking about, you noticed that the Charlottetown Knights were playing a little bit short-handed, that they were missing Colin McQuillan and Carson Murnahan out of the lineup. Nolan, excuse me. Scott, you worked your insiders a little bit during the intermission, and you've got an update on both those players.
Yeah, I think Nolan McQuillan must have broke his wrist in one of the games in this tournament, and also Carson Murnahan out with a concussion. So definitely missing those two guys in the lineup here today against the Blizzard. But having said that, I think the Knights have really responded well here today, Jeff. Up 3-1, and could have been a lot more. Like you said, we're probably tripling the shots here coming into this third period. I think probably the Blizzard likely closed that gap a little bit here in the second period. They had a great period as well.
Shots on goal right now after 40 minutes of play. The Knights are still leading in the shot department, but they're very even in that second period. The Knights out shooting the Blizzard 14-13 in that second period.
Okay.
Shots after 40 minutes of play, 35-20, favoring the Knights. And a game like we're seeing today is more of the style of a game that we were used to seeing from the Charlottetown Knights pretty well all season long. And for some reason, it just kind of went AWOL during the championship series here on the island, and just seems like they found that game. We got a moment here. Oh, we thought some of the management here from the East Coast Blizzard were gonna stick their heads in to have a conversation with us. We'll probably get the chance to talk to them here in a minute. But Scott, really, this is the Charlottetown Knights team that we thought we were going to see in the playoffs and going into even the first two games of the Atlantics here, and they seem to have finally found their game. But I hate to say it, is it too little, too late for the Knights at this point at 2 losses?
It's hard to say at this point, but they can't think about that right now, Jeff. I think they just got to go out there and play their best. They don't want to come into a tournament like this losing all. You know, they want to put their effort put forward every single game, and that's just the spirit that they come to the rink to play in. And they've impressed me this game. But like you said, down 2, it's a little tough road. It relies upon a lot of results from the other teams.
Exactly. I mean, at 2-2, you need a lot of help from everyone else, and sometimes that's not necessarily the funnest thing to have to sit back and rely on during a tournament like this. So I guess at this point for the Knights, you just got to take it one game at a time and one win at a time, as the old adage goes. We're just a couple of minutes away from third period action here at the Credit Union Center. Once again, the Charlottetown Knights up by a pair of goals at 3-1 after 40 minutes of play over the East Coast Blizzard. You're watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships right here on AO Live. Welcome back inside Credit Union Center here in Kensington, Prince Edward Island. Second game of the day here at the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships. Third period action about to get underway between the Charlottetown Knights and the East Coast Blizzard. Blizzard down by a pair after 40 minutes of play. Declan McLaughlin, Rowan Walsh, and Austin Walker all scoring for the Knights. And it's Ethan Jones for the Blizzard. As we are underway, puck gets played inside the line, and Pardy will play it out in a neutral ice. Played back inside Blizzard territory. Pardy off the wall, comes over onto the near side. Jones will chop it off the wall, back down into Charlottetown territory. McKenzie plays it out in a neutral ice. Moore is picking it up. He skates it in over the line, very close to being offside there at the Knights line. McGuigan down in the corner. That gets played in behind the goal by the Knights, and aggressive forecheck there. Dunn gets tied up as the puck is loose. In front of the goal, comes all the way back to the point. Pardy plays it down in behind the Knights goal. Pass right out in front of the net, and it goes off, and it's going to be picked up there by Hudson Bradley for a stoppage and play 44 seconds in to the third period. And we got a hello going out, actually, from Kenny Chafee, the manager of the East Coast Blizzard, saying hello to Mace Blake Lane in Goulds, Newfoundland. Thanks for tuning in, watching back there. And I hope I didn't butcher that one up too badly. Any of those names. As off the draw, Blizzard control, they'll play it over onto the far side. Spurl avoids the check. He'll fire a shot right on. Bradley with the save, and actually, correction, that's not Spurl. That was Gavin Connors with the shot. He'll poke it, trying to play it back down into the corner, but that's broken up. The Knights will play it over onto the near side. McGuigan couldn't reach it, and this is going to play all the way down the ice and for an icing call. 1:10 gone here in the third. Again, a 3-1 Knights lead over the East Coast Blizzard. As off the draw, there's a shot that'll sail high and wide of the goal. Down in the far corner, Connors battling along the wall. Trying to play it up onto the far side. That's broken up. Here's Walker into the slot. Walsh couldn't pull the trigger on that shot. Clinton plays it over onto the far side. Long shot right on, and Comden will steer that into the corner. Walker plays it down into the corner, but that was broken up there by the Blizzard. Connors, long pass, goes off the foot of Piercy. Back the other way now. Connors is in over the line. Connors neatly threw his legs around Lawless. Connors working his way in, he scores! What a beauty of a goal by Gavin Connors. I think he kind of surprised himself. He went between his feet, back to his forehand, around Bradley, around the outstretched right pad, and the Blizzard are back within one at 3-2.
That's a confident puck carrying there, Jeff.
I'm looking at you, looking down at your monitor, and you've got that look of shock on your face after that goal there. What a dandy of a goal. Through the neutral zone, here's McCabe. He'll roll it down into Blizzard territory. McPhee chasing it down in the corner. McPhee trying to work it through. He gets bumped off the puck. And it'll be skated out through the neutral zone by Jordan Flynn. He'll has it taken away from him in the neutral zone by the Knights. McPhee tips it down into Blizzard territory. Again, what a highlight reel goal. Here's an opportunity for McCabe, McCabe with a shot that'll roll wide of the goal. McCabe will get it back in the slot area, but he'll have it cleared off his stick back out in the neutral ice. Thomas McPhee plays it back inside the Blizzard line. Long pass up onto the near side. Strong will just swat it down into Charlottetown territory. And the Knights will control. 2:50 gone here in the third. Here's Strong. Plays that off the wall, back inside Charlottetown territory, knocked down there by the Knights. As they'll play that off the dasher. The Ferris looking for it. He can't come up with it, and Strong will fire it over into the far corner. Through the neutral zone now. This is McKenzie. He'll rifle it into Blizzard territory. Party gets absolutely lambasted down along the wall, and there's going to be a penalty here coming up to Parker McDonald. I do believe this is going to be an interference call, possibly, as McDonald absolutely runs over his man down in the corner.
Might be a boarding call.
Nope, it is an interference call. So right off the bat, the Blizzard get that goal in the early stages of the third period, and now they find themselves going up on the power play with 16:44 to go here in the third. Draw one there by the Knights. They'll wrap it around the wall. It'll bounce off the glass and hit off a stanchion and right back down into Blizzard territory. Here's Spurl for Connors. Connors once again working his way in, gets around Clinton, but rolls off his stick down in the corner. Connors back into the corner. Yabsley on the far side, trying to knock it down. Comes back to the point. There's a long shot from Flynn right on, and that was steered aside by Bradley. Kept in at the line by Connors. Connors there for Spurl. Spurl trying to pull the trigger on a shot, and it just rolled off his stick. Here's Walsh. He'll pick it up. He'll find the opening. He gets it only as far as the red line. Knocked down there by Griffiths. Blizzard will skate it in down the right side now. Flynn working his way in. Puck bounces on him. Yabsley will pick it up on the near side. Back to the point for Connors. Connors looking. Feeds it over to Griffiths. Over onto the far side. There's a wrist shot right on. Bradley the save. Rebound. Crowd there by the Knights. Blizzard, however, trying to work it free, and the Knights actually will come up with it and fire it down the ice. Under a minute to go now in the power play for the Blizzard. Here's Connors. In over the line. Loses control of the puck, and the Knights will fire it down the ice. Here's Griffith. He'll chop it over into the far side. Silvaggio trying to find the loose puck out in front of the goal. Here's Doyle with a shot that goes off his stick and over into the far corner. Silvaggio absolutely aggressive on the penalty kill on the forecheck. Here's Strong now through the neutral zone, in over the line. Wide on Lawless. He'll play it off the wall over into the far corner. Morris plays it in behind the goal, but allowed to be picked up there by the Knights. And they'll clear it out in a neutral ice, and there's just 5 seconds to go in the penalty to McDonald. Strong plays it back into his own zone. It'll be played off the wall. Lawless turns it over in the neutral zone. Jones gets stood up there at the line as the teams are now back at even strength. In over the line now, pass towards the front of the goal, goes off a stick over onto the near wall. One of the Blizzard's players fell, and Lawless tried to play it back in deep, and that one went straight up into the air and into the netting. And that'll be a stoppage in play. So Gavin Connors, an unassisted marker at 1:52 of the third period, pulls the Blizzard within one. Ethan Jones with the other Blizzard goal. And it's Declan McLaughlin, Rowan Walsh, and Austin Walker all scoring for the Knights. There's McLaughlin off the draw. That shot blockered down there by Comden. Here's a long shot from Proud. That misses the goal. Puck bounces off the end wall. Comden scrambling to get back to his feet. Here's Dunn at the right point. Feeds that shot through, and Comden will kind of jump up a little bit and take that one in the Blizzard logo for a stoppage in play. 5:49 gone here in the third.
He just grabbed that puck and just I do this all day long. I'm just going to throw this away.
Comden doing the extra little timeout, adjusting his helmet.
Sure.
And the flow under his helmet. And that's going to result in Yabsley getting waved out of the face-off circle. Spurl will come in and take the draw for the Blizzard. And he'll skate it up as far as the line. Or correction, that's not Spurl, that's Moores. It's probably about a 1.5 foot height difference there. There's a shot from McGuigan. That'll sail high and wide of the goal. Dunn can't keep it in at the line. And it'll go all the way down into Charlottetown territory. Proud back to get it. He'll play it into the near corner for Dunn. Up the right side for McLaughlin. Here's McGuigan down the right side, cutting towards the middle, trying to get a shot off. Guys have poked off his stick down into the corner. McGuigan pushes his man down in the corner. A couple of bodies go crashing down to the ice, but it's the Blizzard coming back the other way. Here's Declan Flynn. He'll play it down into the corner, and he'll chase it down. Flynn using his big body. Another big hit down in the corner. Connors throwing his weight around. Puck towards the front of the goal, and just chopping it wide was Drew Moores. Here's Thomas McPhee. McPhee working his way in. He'll dish it in the slot. There's a shot from Walsh. That sails wide of the goal. Again, I keep getting those two mixed up. Passing behind. The intended receiver over on the far side being Ben Spurl. That'll get tipped down into Blizzard territory. Here's McCabe trying to keep the play alive down below the goal line. Connors battling down below the goal line. Party will pick it up, trying to pass it over the far side. That was broken up by Walsh. Walsh into the corner for McCabe. Different looking line here with Walsh, McCabe, and McPhee. Puck gets played out in the neutral ice and knocked down there by Clinton. Here's McCabe, feeds it over for Walsh. In over the line. Walsh has it knocked off a stick, goes right to McCabe, and he gets a weak shot off, and there's a big hit down below the goal line as Connors takes down Walsh. In over the line they come, and awfully close at the line over on the far side. As here's a look at the scoring opportunity by McPhee as he fired that one just wide of the goal, and awfully close on that offside over on the far side.
I was just looking at the hit afterwards. Two bodies colliding, and then the third went down.
7:40 gone here in the third.
What do you call that? A train wreck, isn't it? Or a car
crash. 18-wheeler wreck, possibly, if you want. Puck gets played down into Blizzard territory. Knights control. Here's Walker into the slot. Walker fires a shot that gets blocked. It'll go all the way back to the point. McKenzie with a shot, and that one gets blocked, and it'll bounce all the way back inside Charlottetown territory. Dunn, middle of the ice. Through the neutral zone comes Walker, in over the line. Walker fires a shot, scores! Austin Walker with his second of the game. And the lead is now back to 2 at 4-2. And Walker just steps into the slot, fires a shot, and he beats Comden just above the pad and below the blocker. Perfectly placed shot there by Austin Walker.
Yeah, quick release from Austin Walker, using that screen a little bit, the feet sticking away. Comden was upset. And they find themselves up 2 goals again.
Blizzard control, and the Blizzard did actually have some momentum built, but that's a momentum killer. As the puck gets cleared up along the wall, Strong trying to chop it out, and it'll be kept in. Strong on the left side, his pass goes off a stick, and Comden forced to play it into the corner. Strong trying to play it out, and it goes off a stick towards the front of the goal. Here's Dunn pinching down low. Dunn working towards the front of the goal. That was broken up, and the Blizzard will skate it away. Back the other way. Here's Flynn down the right side. He has it knocked off a stick. Blizzard can't do anything with it. Declan Flynn will fire it back inside Knights territory. Hudson Bradley into the corner. Silvaggio couldn't knock down that pass. Party will pick it up, and he'll dump it right in onto Bradley. Here's a long pass. McLaughlin working his way in. McLaughlin with a shot. He had a beat on that top blocker corner, and it went off the end of the stick of Comden. In over the line, now come the Blizzard. Here's Flynn driving in. His shot goes off the shoulder of Bradley and up over the glass and out of play. 10:49 to go here in the third, and it's a 2-goal lead for the Charlottetown Knights.
Yeah, great back and forth action here, but I love the consistency and the continued pressure by the Knights. They really want this lead. They seem to want to be in this game to win it. And it's good energy to see.
Charlottetown Knights have now reached the 40-shot mark in the game. They're out shooting the Blizzard 40-25. Hines, he turns it over, and nearly another opportunity to break away there for Walsh, but Hines using that reach of his to take it away from Walsh. In over the line now. Here's Walker once again, fires a shot, and he was looking blocker side once again, and he just missed the net. Puck bouncing around in front of the goal, and that's a chop just wide by McGuigan. Proud plays it back for Clinton. Clinton, middle of the ice pass for McGuigan. Here's McGuigan working wide, trying to throw it right through the blue paint. Nobody there for the Knights. As the Blizzard will skate it back the other way, here's Flynn. He'll get the red line and he'll dump it in. And as he dumped it in, his stick shattered in half. And a stoppage in play. I do believe it was an offside at the Knights line with just past the halfway mark here of the third period with 9:56 remaining. As off the draw, it is fired into Knights territory. Bradley in behind the goal, plays it over into the near corner. That'll get played high off the glass, and I'm surprised that didn't hit a light or a rafter here.
Just went by a speaker, a light, a rafter, a pole.
And that'll go all the way down into Charlottetown territory. McKenzie trying to get it out, but it's kept in there by the Blizzard. Over on the far side, it's Duffett down in the corner trying to play it out in front of the goal. That was broken up the side of the Knights goal. Duffett gets taken down, pushed into the back of the net, and I'm surprised that didn't come popping off like it did when Sam Magic was in goal down there. As out in front of the goal, there's a pass that goes off the heel of the blade of Campbell, and he was unable to get a shot on goal, but the Knights will keep the puck in at the line. Here's McCabe working his way into the slot area. McCabe still with it down in the corner, out in front of the goal, looking for the redirect from McPhee, and it was redirected just wide of the goal. Campbell trying to chop it back down in deep. Puck's loose in the slot area, and the Blizzard will just poke it out in the neutral ice, and actually they'll poke it as far as the Knight zone. Here's Dunn, long pass for the neutral zone. Doyle leaves it there for McLaughlin. McLaughlin firing a wrist shot, and man, oh man, can that kid ever shoot.
They're not missing by much either.
No, they're not. Here's Dunn, pass to the middle of the ice, Silvaggio for McLaughlin and over the line, as it taken away from him there by McCarthy, but Silvaggio will pick it up down below the goal line, pass out in front of the goal, and that's picked up there by the Blizzard. Back the other way comes Drew Moores. Moores, he tucks it between his legs, trying to get around Proud. Pass right through the blue paint, nobody there for the Blizzard. Declan Flynn knocks that down at the line, keeps it in only momentarily. Here's Silvaggio for McLaughlin, and it's offside at the Blizzard line, and Silvaggio sprung McLaughlin, and he had a step on the defenseman.
Definitely a heads-up play by Silvaggio, right? Moved up to McLaughlin. He saw McLaughlin breaking over that blue line, but I guess just fraction of a second too late.
Considering all the work you're doing over there, Scott, you've managed to keep everything kind of sort of straight here today. And I mean that in the nicest possible way, my friend. There's a long shot at his glove down by Hudson Bradley. See, so for those of you watching at home, right now it's a three-man operation right now, but there's only two of us actually live here at the rink. If you've heard us talk about the mysterious ghost producer, Tara King, well, she's back working all the controls back in Fredericton, New Brunswick. So Scott's on camera. I'm doing play-by-play. He's also doing color. So I'm getting away with doing the light duty work, really.
Having lots of fun here today.
As the puck comes out in front of the goal, that'll get cleared away and all the way back down inside the Blizzard zone. They'll play it off the wall and it'll be picked up by the Blizzard in the neutral zone. Here's Yabsley in over the Knights line. Yabsley driving wide on Clinton out in front of the goal, and that popped right out in front into the slot area, and nobody was there for the Blizzard. Here's Walsh. Walsh back into the slot area. McGuigan following up. He has it on the backhand, trying to send it out in front of the goal. There's a shot from a bad angle, and it managed to bounce off a couple of bodies and fall at the feet of Ty Comden, and he's able to grab onto that and hang on.
Well, we've only got 7 minutes to go here, Jeff. Can the Knights hold on to this 2-goal lead? That's the question. I didn't say anything.
You didn't say anything, but I think you started to put it out there, and we're not doing this. We're not doing this one again this game.
No, we're going to end in regulation.
Connors is going to get waved out of the face-off circle. Yeah, now that you said it. We've done 6 games, and 3 of them have gone to extra time and a shootout now. So certainly getting our money's worth. Here's the Knights from a bad angle. McLaughlin trying to bank it in off the pad of Comden. There's a long shot from the point from Clinton. That'll sail high and wide. Dunn trying to keep it in at the near point. Blizzard will play it off the wall. It'll go over onto the far side. Declan Flynn can't reach it. Campbell and Flynn bump into each other down in the far corner. Blizzard come up with it now on the near side. Long pass up the right side for Connors. Actually, Spurl. I keep getting Connors and Spurl mixed up. Here's McLaughlin, 2-on-1 shaping up. McLaughlin fires a shot, and that one hits the goal post. The rebound is in the back of the net. Declan McLaughlin with his second of the evening. The initial shot went off the post, and it rolled right back to McLaughlin. And Declan McLaughlin with a pair of goals here this afternoon. And, you know, when you're a goal scorer, the puck seems to find you.
Yeah, always.
And that one again with McLaughlin, straight off the post, and it came right back to him, and he had a wide open net to put it past Ty Comden.
Some people like to shoot that puck off the post and admire it instead of Declan McLaughlin stayed there right with the puck and knew he was going to bounce to his feet.
I mean, when you looked at the replay, he was kind of surprised that it actually kind of came right back to him because he was like, oh, wait a minute. But in any event, McLaughlin has increased the lead to 3. It is now 5-2 with 6:20 remaining here in the third period as Ty Comden will grab onto that puck and he will hang on for another stoppage and play.
A little chop on McLaughlin after the whistle there.
Face-off is to the left of the Blizzard goal. Puck out in front of the goal. Silvaggio played it right to the feet of Comden, and he calmly grabbed onto that with the trapper for a stoppage and play.
I don't know what it is they got with McLaughlin here now, Jeff, but they're having a few words after every whistle here.
I'm starting to wonder if maybe there might be a little bit of frustration starting to set in here on the side of the Blizzard.
Well, they know who's doing the damage against them, and it is McLaughlin here today.
I mean, really, all the big guns for Charlottetown have really stepped up here today. McLaughlin with a pair of goals.
Walker was good.
Walker has got a goal. Walsh has got a goal as well. So, I mean, as McKenzie fires a shot through Condon with the save, and he kind of did the reach around in behind him to make sure that didn't get in. Here's Lawless at the line. He sends a shot through. That gets blocked. Walker over in the far corner. Spins away from a check down into the corner. Walsh out in front of the goal, and McGuigan working the give and go down low. Here's Walsh coming up that puck. Down for McGuigan once again. McGuigan takes down his man in the corner. Here's Walker. Walker gets bumped, and it'll be wrapped around the wall over onto the far side. The Knights will keep it in only momentarily. Here's a 2-on-1 shaping up now for the Blizzard, working his way in. There's a shot off the stick of Moore. Strong with the rebound. He scores.
There's a weird bounce off the backboards out in front of the net to Strong and
Ethan Jones. Sorry, Scott. Ethan Jones working his way in, and he fired it off. He fired it wide of the goal, and it hit off the dasher right down, and it came straight out to Mason Strong, who finally finds the back of the net. And maybe that might be the goal that gets the monkey off his back here a little bit. He seemed to have been kind of struggling, a little bit lost out there, especially in this game here today. But he finds the back of the net, and the Blizzard are down by a pair now with 5.5 to go here in the third. As the Knights will play that all the way down the ice, and this is going to go down for an icing call, so they'll bring the face-off back into Charlottetown territory. Just 8 seconds after that strong goal, there's going to be a face-off. Lost my breath there a little bit. Sounded like I got punched in the stomach. And what I was trying to say is there's a face-off deep in Charlottetown territory just 8 seconds after the Blizzard goal. Today, Junior. As the cup right up in front of the goal, there's a shot that I don't think it got through, and the Knights will roll that one all the way back down the ice, and this is going to go right in onto Comden. As Hines, he's being pressured. The Blizzard played onto the near side. Piercy will pick it up. His pass to the middle of the ice. McCarthy working his way around Dunn, working wide there on Proud. McCarthy playing it out in front of the goal, trying to jam it at the side of the net, and it's cleared, and it's smothered there by Hudson Bradley, and Piercy got his stick in on it and jumping up on him is done right away, but Pearson kind of skated right away from that from the pile up there because he knows what's at stake here, especially this late in the third period.
I was just going to say that. They're very disciplined. Pushing and shoving after the whistle, then they walk away. And the refs are letting them do that.
Face-off is to the left of Hudson Bradley. 4:54 to go here in the third. Draw one there by the Knights. Here's Clinton. He'll play it hard off the wall out in the neutral ice. The Blizzard will play it back inside Knights territory, but it'll be Clinton skating it out. He'll get the red line and fire it in wide of the Blizzard goal. Silvaggio down on the far side. He gets bumped along the wall. It'll get wrapped around onto the near side. And it'll be picked up here by the Blizzard through the neutral zone. McCarthy plays it in deep. He runs over his man. As the Knights will play it up on the far side. Silvaggio, headman pass to McLaughlin. McLaughlin trying to go between the feet of the Blizzard defenseman, but it's picked up there on the far side. Graham Cleary, he turns it over. Silvaggio trying to play towards the front of the goal, but that gets cleared back out in the neutral ice, and that'll get played into the Blizzard bench, and it'll be a stoppage in play. And the head coach of the Blizzard, Mike Lee, saying, face-off is on that side of the red line, please and thank you. And he is going to get his wish. It's going to be on that side of the red line, just outside of the Knights' goal, in front of the Knights' bench with 4:10 to go now here in the third. Draw one there by the Knights. They'll play it at neutral ice. Here's McGuigan in over the line. He's got Walsh going to the net. McGuigan trying to feed it there. Goes off the pad of Comden. Trying to jam it in short side, and that was stopped there by Comden. Through the neutral zone now. Here's Spurl in over the line towards the middle of the ice. That pass broken up. Walker will pick it up in the air for the Knights. Walker, he gets chopped down in the neutral zone. That could have been a tripping call, but the referees are going to let him play here in the last 5 minutes or so. Here's a shot right on, and Comden with the save as he stops Rowan Walsh with 3:37 to go here in the third. And now you're going to have to start thinking about possibly pulling Ty Comden here. And I would say you're down by a pair. You're going to have to get some offensive zone pressure. And if you can sustain that, probably take him out around the 2-minute, 1:45 mark.
You lose by 2, you lose by 3. Doesn't
either way, it goes down as a loss, I suppose, if you look at it that way. Although I have seen coaches pull their goaltender with 5 minutes left down by 2 as well.
There was a scientific experiment on that, I think. It's sooner than you think. 6 minutes, 7 minutes that gives you the best chance to actually get a tie. Yeah, anyway, it's I don't mind that non-call there of the officiating. I mean, it's a trip at center ice.
I mean, it didn't break up a scoring chance. It wasn't as if it was right in front of the net. Kind of like the one that was called on him in overtime yesterday. As off the draw, here's Clinton back at the right point. Walking in, Clinton fires a shot, blocker save there by Comden. As Lawless plays it there for McLaughlin, back for Lawless. His shot, that gets redirected wide of the goal. Sprong, he'll feed it over to the far side. Here's Flynn through the neutral zone. As it knocked off his stick at the Knights line. Griffith trying to play it in deep. That gets broken up by the Knights, and they'll clear it out in the neutral ice. Back the other way now. McLaughlin in over the line. Drops it for Silvaggio. Silvaggio with a shot that goes off his stick, and it'll bounce over onto the near wall. Kept it at the right point by Clinton. Clinton for the redirect in front of the goal. Excuse me. I'm not quick enough on the cough button here. Nice redirect in front of the goal there by Aiden Silvaggio.
Tracked well by Comden, though.
Very well. And so the Blizzard are going to make their way out of their zone. We're going to keep an eye out now. We're at the 2.5 minute mark here.
They'll pull you can't get the puck
out of their zone. They'll have to get out of their own zone. Walker for McGuigan. McGuigan trying to pull the trigger on a slap shot. That gets cleared away, and the coaches are calling for Comden, but the Knights are going to come right back the other way. McGuigan, his pass broken up at the line. Here's Connors through the neutral zone. In over the line. Connors going to get it in deep, and there goes Comden to the bench. So an empty net. The extra attacker for the Blizzard, but the Knights are coming through the neutral zone. And smartly played down into the corner once they get across the red line was the Knights. Through the neutral zone, there's a shot. Flynn with a shot, he scores!
Oh, I don't know how that found the hole underneath Bradley.
That one there kind of caught me by surprise. And look at that, folks. They pulled the goaltender for the extra attacker. And now with 1:46 to go here in the third.
In my coaching career, I've been criticized for pulling goalies too early. And it worked out that time for the Blizzard.
As it looks like the Blizzard are going to take their 30-second timeout. My apologies. I got to apologize to my producer. She's doing a million different things, also running our graphics package and replays. And I was kind of noticing something. I pulled up the empty net sign on our graphics package, and her and I have been fighting with the mouse over the last couple of moments. And I'm just getting a message that I threw her off, apparently, but it's okay. We smoothed it out. Kumbaya.
Kumbaya.
As the Blizzard's 30-second timeout is now expired, I suspect you're going to see something like get the puck in deep, and Comden's going to head back to the bench once again. So 1:46 to go here in the third.
The Knights had a chance to finish that game, too, with that empty net, but they elected to dump it in instead.
As that'll get dumped down into the Blizzard zone, and Comden, he's looking and waiting, and there he goes. And it's Declan Flynn with the goal that pulls it within one. Here's Flynn at the line, trying to play it in deep. McLaughlin gets it out as far as the line. Flynn trying to play it back in deep, and it'll be cleared down the ice. This is going to be an icing call, and this is going to be charged against the Knights with 1:23 to go now here in the third. Face-off is to the right of Hudson Bradley. Scott?
What?
You know what I'm thinking.
Uh-oh, Jeff, no. We're not talking about that.
No, you're the one that put it out there if it happens. Here's Flynn along the near wall into the slot. That'll hop over the stick of Connors. Connors down in the corner. Connors throwing it towards the front of the net. Bradley the save, and the puck's still loose to the left of the Knights goal. It gets played out as far as the line. Connors protecting it with that big boot of his. Along the wall, puck jumps up into the Knights bench, and we have a stoppage in play as the...
Don't know, Jeff. It's there's a lot of pressure here from the Blizzards.
1:02 to go now here in the 1:02, not 1:20. As you might see on the scoreboard. And I think the Charlottetown Knights now have actually taken a 30-second timeout. And that is the... So did the Knights take that other timeout?
No, I think it was the who took that one?
That sounded like the Blizzard on that one. I think the Knights might have taken that other timeout.
Odd when you're...
I mean, unless Will Zafaris wanted to give the boys a little bit of a breather with his big guns out on the ice.
Very possible. They each just get the one, so.
But it worked out in the Blizzard's advantage with that Knights timeout. 1:02 to go here in the third, and the Blizzards are down by one. Face off to the left of Hudson Bradley. Draw one there by the Blizzard. It'll come back to the near side. Puck gets chopped along the wall, knocked down on the near side by Flynn. Puck gets cleared out in neutral ice. McGuigan chasing it down. Has a shot at the open net. A couple of Blizzards are back, playing it towards the front of the goal. And that was broken up, so the Blizzards are away. Here's Flynn. Piercy, he'll dump it down into the open corner. Moore is in behind the net. It'll come over onto the near side. 35 seconds to go now. Here's Flynn at the point. Sends the shot through, and Bradley is able to find that through a little bit of traffic. And he'll hang on with 32.0 seconds to go exactly here in period 3. Face-off is to the right of Hudson Bradley. And the Knights win that draw. Dunn wraps it around the wall. Tried to wrap it around the wall, but it was knocked down. Dunn has it in his feet. It comes loose. Piercy with a shot right on. Rebound is there. Bradley made the save. Rebound is now corralled there by the Blizzard. Back to the point for Connors. Connors back to the top of the right circle. There's a shot that misses the net. Rebound comes off the wall. Connors with the one-timer through traffic, and that goes over the net. Backhand shot somehow stays out as Walsh will pick it up. He'll find the opening. He'll fire it down the ice, and this is going to go all the way down for an icing call. And actually, no, the buzzer will sound to bring to an end the hockey game here this afternoon. And what a dandy of a hockey game it was, Scott, as the Charlottetown Knights come out victorious with a 5-4 win over the East Coast Blizzard.
Just absolutely awesome hockey game, Jeff. Great on the Knights to battle back here and get a solid win in regulation.
I mean, going back though, you look at how this game started out for the Blizzard. It looked like for the first 40 minutes they absolutely had no life in them. And that third period, they popped one home. They managed to get on the board and build a little momentum going their way. And all of a sudden, before they know it, they're pulling themselves back within one. As here we are, the Charlottetown Knights get themselves into the win column with the big win, and that changes the Blizzard's record now a little bit to 1-1-0-1 on the tournament here. So
we're going to do more math, Jeff.
Oh my gosh, we're the last two. I'm the last person you want to do math. Here's a look at the players of the game presentation.
Tonight's awards presenter will be Maurice Thériault with Hockey New Brunswick.
Player of the game presentation from Maurice Thériault from Hockey Brunswick.
Good decision on the Blizzard.
I think you could have gone Gavin Connors or Ty Comden.
Oh, Ty Comden, sure too.
Austin Walker, the player of the game for the Charlottetown Knights. Just to kind of put it in perspective here, Ty Comden
with the shots.
Ty Comden seen more rubber than a dead skunk on the Trans-Canada Highway here today, as he faced 52 shots in the loss, giving up 5 goals, and so that's a 47 save performance for Ty Comden here today, as he faced it, and the East Coast Blizzard's only getting 33 shots on goal. So I mean, Ty Comden or Gavin Connors could have been the game MVP. I would have probably gone with Ty Comden, but that's just the way I look at it.
Declan McLaughlin, too, for the Knights.
Declan McLaughlin, yeah. I mean, with a pair of goals here today, he was all over the ice, and he was probably the best player for the Knights here today as well. I mean, really, all the Knights players really stepped up. The big guys that haven't stepped up that you've seen struggle a little bit in the playoffs, Walker, Walsh, McLaughlin, McGuigan finding a stride after being hurt for a little bit in the playoffs. So, I mean, this was just a great all-around performance by the Charlottetown Knights. We're going to take a quick timeout. Scott and I will come back. We'll wrap things up. We'll put a nice little bow on today's contest between the Blizzard and the Knights, and we'll get you all set for the final contest of the day, as it'll be the Kensington Wild and the Halifax Max here at Credit Union Center. Once again, the final score, the Charlottetown Knights 5, the East Coast Blizzard 4. You're watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships here on AO Live. And for one final time here during the second game of the afternoon, don't forget, folks, you can buy your lucky 50/50 tickets online by scanning the QR code on the screen right here, or you can go to the U18 Atlantic Championships website. The QR code is also there. You can scan it, buy your 50/50 ticket from no matter where you are. You don't have to be in the arena to win. The draw for the 50/50 draw is going to come up during the third period of our final game of the day as the Kensington Wild take on the Halifax Max coming up at 7:30 this evening. We can tell you right now the pot for the 50/50 draw is at $624. I can't really tell. Is it $600 or $824? We're trying
$624.
Okay, we're looking at it through the protective netting, so the 6 kind of looks like an 8. So again, scan the QR code, buy your 50/50 tickets, and for a chance to get in on the what's going to be another big pot here this evening, again in the final game of the afternoon. 50/50, you can't win if you don't play. I'm starting to have a little too much fun with that tagline. I'm going to have to, copyright pending.
Yep.
As Scott and I will get ready to wrap things up, just get some final thoughts on the game here today. I mean, the Charlottetown Knights. This was the Charlottetown Knights team that I thought we were going to see going into the Provincial Championship Series against the Kensington Wild, going back a few weeks now, and they certainly came out with a lot of jump and a lot of pizzazz. But you got to take your hat off to this East Coast Blizzard team. They showed fight right into the very end of this game.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You look at that first period, like you and I were talking about earlier, where was the blizzard that we saw yesterday? It was a little bit of a rainstorm or a wind. Maybe it wasn't a blizzard. So
but yesterday for the blizzard, I think it was a bit of an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
You had the high of that solid game they played against the Halifax Max, losing in overtime.
Yeah.
In a way that there was some controversy to it, and then you go to that other overtime, the game that they played against the Kensington Wild, where it was the extreme emotional high. And, as much as you hate to say it, that does take a lot out of you, from the extreme highs, or the extreme lows to the extreme highs, the extreme lows to the extreme highs.
Definitely.
And, they came out flat here in the first 40 minutes of play, I found. But they still managed to stay in the game, and they certainly made a hockey game of it going into the third period.
Yeah, and equally, the effort they coming on the end of that second period and the third period was admirable for sure on the Blizzard. They fought back, but hats off to this Charlottetown Knights crew coming into this game 0-2. And their big names stepped up: McLaughlin, Walker, Walsh. I mean, those guys were just unstoppable. Seth Lawless had was instrumental in that first goal that the Knights scored, and it just a great performance here by the Knights overall.
And considering they were missing two of their big guns out of their lineup as well, with Nolan McQuillan and Carson Murnahan, both injured. I'm going to say they were both injured last game that they played, because they were both in the lineup yesterday. So
hope for a quick recovery of those two.
It was, it might be a little bit harder for McQuillan with the broken wrist. But Murnahan, potentially, they might have just given him the day off here today. And he might be in the lineup again in the next game tomorrow. So we're going to wrap things up very quickly here for game number 2 of the afternoon. Scott and I are going to go get off our feet for a little bit over an hour here to give our feet and legs a bit of a break. And we'll remind you that our final game of the afternoon comes up at 7:30 tonight, as the host team Kensington Wild will take on the Halifax Max, and the Max with a 2-0 record going up against the Wild, who are 1-0, I do believe is how that would fall into place.
Max are the team to beat right now.
As of right now, and potentially with a win here against the Wild, the Max could find themselves with a ticket punched going into Sunday, even though we're only on Friday. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting to see how the final games of this round robin portion will play out going into tomorrow. So once again, the final score of Game 2 here in the afternoon, the Charlottetown Knights get past the East Coast Blizzard by a 5-4 mark here at the Credit Union Center. Game number 3 of the day coming up at 7:30 this evening, Kensington Wild, Halifax Max. You've been watching the 2025 U18 Male Atlantic Hockey Championships right here on AO Live.